Hello, my name is Jamel. My team and I have been interning at Faces New York. We have created a small documentary, a clip shedding light on the facts and misconceptions about HIV and AIDS in hopes of raising the awareness and education in youth in the city. I hope you enjoy these clips.
He has one goal.
Get into the human body, multiply.
One gift.
Let's just say I turn an average infection into a lethal killer.
In a world of deadly diseases. The virus with the most power to kill
Silent virus.
is the one you least expect.
So you just arrived, huh?
HIV and AIDS becomes kind of that thing that's in the distance. And so I think that's the first way that it affects is because there's a lack of education and a lack of knowledge about the disease. The second thing I would say is young people, particularly young people of color, don't tend to take the disease as serious and have very, very little education around it.
Do you know what HIV is?
HIV is a sexual disease that you get from having sex or kissing somebody that has HIV. If you have an open cut and their blood touches you, I guess you could catch HIV.
It's a disease that you get when you're sexually active, and it's spread through sexual orientation.
I know it's a disease, something you could die off of, and it's a lot of ways you could catch it, such as having sex, open cuts, saliva, not like saliva on an open cut in your mouth, sharing needles, and not using condoms.
It's a virus that you get through sex, through dirty needles, or like saliva. You can't get it through saliva, I believe so.
Well, that it's a sexually transmitted disease, that it's, well, there's no cure exactly for it because it mutates or something.
I know that HIV, it breaks up families, it breaks hearts, changes lives, and ultimately, in its worst stages, it turns into AIDS, which can ultimately lead to death. So it's something that's a very serious STD, and I think that it's very important to be fully aware about all the ways you can possibly contract HIV and stay clear of those possibilities if you can.
I know it's a sexually transmitted disease, and you can get it from, I think, vaginal sex. That's pretty much all I know. Anything other than that, I don't know.
It's a disease that is transmitted through sexual activities.
Human immunodeficiency virus, a germ that causes the lack of defense system in the human. It leaves the body defenseless against opportunistic diseases/infections, such as TB, cancer, and AIDS.
Do you talk about HIV with your peers, your friends, your parents, or someone?
I mean, a bit in our health classes, but other than that, nothing, no. Not with friends or parents.
Only in school. Huh? Only in school. I don't need to talk about it.
Where I come from, it's just everyone expects you to put a condom on when you have sex, so I'm not really reminded to put a condom on. It's just like putting on a seatbelt. It's something you just do.
I've heard about it in my health class, but otherwise, no, not really. I guess I would if I had HIV, but I'm not sexually active, so no.
Talk about HIV with peers, especially because some of my peers are currently practicing unsafe practices of sex, and I always tell them, like, if there's somebody you just met at the bar, you know, you don't want to chance it with them, you know, because you don't know how many partners they've had and how many partners, you know, you may have had and you didn't know. Maybe you can be passing on yourself. So it's just, I always stress the fact that, you know, using condoms is so important in everyday sexual activity.
No, not really. I try to stay away from, like, the big disease. That's what I consider. Like, it's very massive. It's a, you know, a disease that affects you. So, yeah, I don't really talk about HIV. I don't talk about any sexually transmitted disease for that matter. So, yeah.
No, porque en la comunidad latina siempre eso se trata con tabú y yo pienso que no se habla mucho de eso. En mi escuela no tanto, con mi familia nunca y con mis amigos tal vez, pero más de sexo que de VIH-Sida.
Friends.
What do you guys say about it?
Strap it up, wrap
The people ranging from the ages of 20 to 25 have a higher rate of AIDS diagnosis than people ranging from the ages of 15 to 19, stating that the death rates are less than half the AIDS diagnosis. This means that if you take care of yourself, you can live a healthy, full life. The statistics show that black women and men have the highest risk of HIV infection, followed by Hispanic/Latino women and men, and white women and men have the lowest risk of HIV infection. New HIV/AIDS diagnosis. 1,823 people were newly diagnosed with HIV/AIDS in New York City during the first half of 2009. 81% were black or Hispanic, 75% were men, 54% lived in Brooklyn or Manhattan, 23% were diagnosed with AIDS at the time they first tested HIV positive. Risk factors. 40% of new HIV/AIDS diagnoses were among MSM, men who sleep with men. 23% were attributed to heterosexual contact. 5% were among injection drug users.
Do you think HIV is a serious problem?
I think a lot of it is because people just keep wanting to do things that they shouldn't be doing, and that they don't tell the people that they're doing these things with that they have diseases or any kind of problem, and that they spread it to the person without them knowing, and then they spread it to another person, and then eventually it just keeps going.
Of course, yes.
Why so?
Because it costs people many lives every year. That it's I don't know. It could be a disease that could be prevented with more education, things like that.
Es una enfermedad bien seria, sin duda alguna, porque a nuestra comunidad más se nos trata de esconder la información y no tenemos la ayuda que nosotros queremos y que necesitamos.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's spreading very fast. Like it's the statistics that 85% of New Yorkers have a STD, and like, what is it, 40% have HIV and AIDS. That's sad.
I think it's definitely a serious problem because it's one of those diseases that doesn't have a vaccine or a cure. So I definitely think it's a problem because, there's no cure, and that people are getting it at large rates and stuff like that all over the world. So I think it affects everyone.
Sí, el cáncer y el VIH son dos problemas que se deben tratar de lo más pronto. Pienso que las personas tienen que educarse primero antes de acostarse con cualquier persona. Creo que es un problema muy serio, muy serio.
Thank you for watching our PSA. Please remember that HIV/AIDS affects everyone no matter what age, gender, religion, or sexual orientation.
Prevention is as simple as using protection and staying educated, but it's up to you.
Stay safe, stay informed, stay healthy.